Hey everyone, it's Tom here, and it's time for another episode of Tropical Escapes at Home. So, in our last show, I gave you guys a rundown of what I've been working on the last 2 months, which has been absolutely crazy. But the bulk of that did go towards a really cool transformation home guide, along with a self-discovery assessment so that you can help discover what it is you love about the tropics and how you can apply that to your own home design projects. And then I also mentioned that we were kicking off a newsletter, which we have put together over here, and it's actually called the Cabana Lounge. So we think that's a pretty cool name, and I'm getting the final touches put on that. Hopefully we're going to have it released here in the next couple days. But again, it takes a little bit of time when you've never done these things before, and I'm sure all of you can somehow relate to different things in your lives too that you've never done before, and here you are the first time. And if you're impatient like me, you're expecting to know how to do it within the next 30 minutes. And sadly, that's not how that works. So there are some trials and errors that go with it. Things do take a little bit longer than you hope they do, but you stick with it. Ultimately, you polish it up, turn it around, get it out there. And yeah, you end up with a really cool little product, whatever it is, whether it's the courses, it's the newsletter, just lots of stuff we're working on. But today, what I wanted to do was just really, first of all, thank everybody for listening. So I get some really cool analytics on the show here, and I really appreciate it. Even if you're only able to tune in for a few minutes, hopefully longer than that. Hopefully you're able to hang out for the entire episode. That would be very, very cool. But, in the analytics that I get to see about the show, it's just really cool when you see people from Australia and from Singapore, from Russia even, from Colombia and Germany, from the UK tuning in. I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm here in Houston, Texas, and I thought I'm going to put this out there to some little local audience here, maybe kind of expanding across the greater US, maybe into Canada. But, you just kind of sometimes forget that things like a podcast or a YouTube channel have instant global reach. And, I'm just thinking, well, who am I? Why would anybody want to tune in and listen to me? And if you know me by now, I absolutely love the tropics. I'm a big believer in creating tropical escapes at home, connecting those awesome vacations to a little corner or a room in your house just where you can relive some of that vibe, some of that energy. And putting that out there, I just never knew that I would get listeners from so many different countries. I see here the Philippines, I see South Africa, even had a listener in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for tuning in. So yeah, to all of you, no matter where you're located, it really means a lot to me. And it just, wow, I think it's just so very, very cool. So in addition to that, I just want to turn things around and ask you guys, what would you like to hear me talk about? I've been on the air now pretty much since the beginning of February, and I've gone through a lot of the content on our website, and I've explained a lot of our blog posts, and I'm going to be continually expanding on different tropical design topics and lifestyle things that you can do. And, again, just to create that vibe at home. But what I want to know is, what would you guys like to hear about? I have an email address, which is specifically for the podcast. It's just podcast@ceruleanbay.com. So if you could just send me a little email and let me know where you're calling from and what it is you'd like to hear. I'd love to have some feedback about the show. What do you think is working? What's not working? What, again, would you like to hear? Or if there's anything you think I go on too much about, tell me. I would love to know, because I love sitting behind the mic here. I can talk about all kinds of things all day long, but that doesn't mean everybody out there wants to hear it. So really, you tell me how I can make this show better for you. At the end of the day, I'm here to hopefully provide very valuable information to you. I love to help people solve problems and just to kind of take scenarios that are on the negative side and flip them over to positives. And, we all journey through this life, and I'm just a big believer in having it be as positive as possible, this journey through life. There's so many beautiful places you can go and travel and see. There's so many awesome people that you can go and meet. Lots of fun, adventurous things you can do that there's just so many positives. So I want to bring that through my show with a very heavy tropical focus, because that's my passion. That's my area of expertise. And yeah, so please do send me emails, podcast@ceruleanbay.com. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know how you think I can improve my show. And you can also comment on the YouTube channel too. I'll go ahead and post a link to the show as well in the show notes. The YouTube channel is also called Tropical Escapes at Home. So it's new. Again, I only started it in May. So, I'm just getting some videos and things and getting some subscribers out there. But I would love to get some feedback on the videos. Again, I'm not a very heavy tech person, but I'm learning everything that I can to just put in the proper effects and everything to keep these videos cool and interesting, without going over the top, because some of the stuff I see on YouTube sometimes I think is just a little too much with all of the crazy effects and all of this. And, my stuff is supposed to be just calm and cool and relaxing and not get everybody all hyped up because of all these crazy visuals. But go ahead and have a look. Tropical Escapes at Home on YouTube as well. Let me know what you think. And then when I get the newsletter out there, again, the newsletter, the Cabana Lounge, just love the name. I think it's very cool. And so far, the few people that I've run the idea by love the name as well. So now I've got a high bar I have to live up to and keep that little newsletter interesting. But, in the newsletter, just as kind of a side note, we're going to provide just some really cool laid back info about tropical living at home, how to have a really stylish interior. We're going to get into the recipes because I feel like I'm just overdue on that. I've wanted to get into recipes and cocktails and kind of the whole tropical entertaining, but there's only so many hours in a day. And this last year, since I left my job in oil and gas, has been very challenging. So you can put 12 hours in a day and it flies by in 2. It's just crazy. So I haven't gotten to the whole entertaining thing yet, but I am going to put some cool stuff in the newsletter about that. Also going to have some great ideas for deals, like deals on home furnishings, anything in the tropical design world, even getting into travel. If I come across any cool travel deals or things that I see that I think other people could use, I think that would be wonderful to go ahead and share it. Maybe just some travel news, maybe some events that are going on in other countries. I'm a big believer in really learning everything you can about your country of choice that you like to visit, whether it's tropical or not, places that you like to vacation, places you like to go to. And it's obviously way beyond the whole scope of tourism. This is where you're getting to really learn about local cultures and meeting local people and going to places where the tourists don't go and really trying to get a picture of what life is really like in particular countries, not through the tourist lens. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I love. And then you can really see what kind of cool things are going on in the culinary world, in the art world, just the whole world of culture, things that they have going on. I'm not a big fashion person. That's never really been my strength or line of interest there. But when I found out that Fiji has Fiji Fashion Week, I thought, oh, wow, everybody thinks of Paris, maybe you think of New York. Yeah, Fiji has their own fashion week. Who knew? I just think that's the coolest thing. And I thought, just from the little clips and stuff that I saw on Facebook about it, okay, it's a lot of fashion, but there's inspiration there. There's just the colors, the design choices, the patterns. They use a lot of cultural influence in the designs of their clothing, the colors and the patterns that show up there. A lot of it also shows up in their artwork, which is really, really nice. So yeah, any cool things that I come across in tropical countries, I want to be able to showcase those things as well. And what's just really cool is if you can't travel to the country, you certainly can check them out online. I'll post links to some Facebook pages, things I come across on Instagram, just to really share that whole tropical inspiration, the cultural inspiration, just the beauty of these local people and places that, they're far for some people to get to and they're expensive for some people to get to, but that doesn't mean that they're not worth learning about and finding out about and just discovering ways of bringing the beauty of their artwork and culture into your own home when it comes to creating your own little tropical escape. So I'm going to have all kinds of info like that in the newsletter, which will be weekly. And I'm going to do my best to get that out on the same day of every week. So we've got that coming for you. And again, about feedback, once that starts coming out, again, let me know what you think. What do you like? What do you don't like? What would you like to see me include there could be something really cool that I'm missing, and I don't want to miss that. So make sure that you let me know. So having said that, yeah, I want to build a little community here where you guys can chime in about stuff. I will have the community website here going shortly where people can just kind of meet and we can go ahead and share information, exchange ideas. I thought it would be really cool if people could share their before and after pictures. If you are ready to go ahead and turn a particular room in your home into a tropical escape, then you could go ahead and maybe take some pictures of that. We're going to have our little community set up where you can upload those pictures and then maybe show some progression through it as you're making some changes to the room or to that particular space. And then, of course, the after pictures. We would love to see the after results, just how everything really turned out. And this would be so beneficial, I think, to other people in the community because there are a lot of people out there who do struggle to visualize when it comes to seeing things in an art form sort of way or in a design sort of way. A lot of people, they're not really good with color or they just have a hard time imagining different color palettes and how that might come together. Or when it comes to tropical inspired furniture and how you're mixing this with certain decor pieces. And now you've got some pieces of flooring that you're bringing in, like some really cool rugs or mats or these kinds of things. Some people are a whiz with that and they're putting together just some beautiful scenery, interior scenery with this. Go ahead and share it with others because there are people out there who need help with that. And I'm a big believer in helping other people. And where people are struggling, where I can help, that's where I love to jump in and just contribute where I can, maybe give somebody a really cool idea that they didn't think about. And that's the beauty of what I do. I love that here is, in providing value to people who are trying to create a tropical escape, how to get you guys from zero to the hero state, from A to Z with as few hiccups, as few speed bumps as possible. I am all about helping people along the way so that you're not having to go back and redo. You're not having to go back and start over. I mean, what a mental pain that is, and it can be expensive if you've already invested money in paint and flooring or furnishings or whatever. And as you're working on this, you're seeing it's not coming together the way you want, and now you got to go start over. No, that's one of the reasons I love what I do. And you guys can do that too by helping other people, being somebody else's inspiration. I mean, it really does make you feel good when somebody notices what you've done and how you've helped them. And yeah, it's just a very, very cool thing. So we are going to really get into this little community thing. I will keep you guys posted about that, where we can just comment and share, and it's all in a very safe environment, very moderated environment. Obviously, I will keep a close eye on that because it's just got to be fun. It's got to be safe. It's got to be positive. And it's just about the tropics. And who doesn't love the tropics? The people that do, it's fun. It's relaxing. For the people out there who have traveled and gone, you end up meeting really cool people who you otherwise would have never met. And just wonderful, lovely people out there. So yeah, I want to build the same thing in a little community. And then when people travel, you can come back and tell us about your vacations. Where did you go? Here in the US, obviously Hawaii is a big destination. The Caribbean is a big destination because they're geographically close. But I remember when I lived in Europe, and way back in the day when I used to work at the airlines back at Zurich Airport, that was a long time ago. We'll leave that there. But I just remember how in Europe, people would go to the Maldives. I didn't even know where the Maldives were. And now I haven't been to this day. I do want to get over there with my wife. The Maldives are amazing. I think these are some of the most photogenic places on the planet. All of the many different islands and atolls that they have there, just picture perfect, beautiful scenery. And then, for those of you who haven't been to the South Pacific, I highly recommend it. And the people are amazing. Absolutely love the people of Fiji. But you're flying over in a plane. It is just some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And then landing in Fiji and traveling amongst some of the different islands, I'm just absolutely blown away by it. And the pictures that I do have, I would share in the community as well. So yeah, this will be something that I want to do. And just, again, you can let me know your thoughts on that. Places I'd like to introduce to people who don't know, these would be places like the Seychelles, the island of Mauritius, places that aren't very commonly known here in the US by a lot of people. I do want to introduce those places to people here, even though, getting there from the US is quite the journey. It's a hike to get to places like the Seychelles, but totally worth it. Again, has its own culture. It's going to have its own beauty. That's something else that I love about what I do is it's very easy to label these places as all just places that are just good for tropical vacations, but that's not correct. That's not true. Yes, even though they are all warm and sun-filled places and, in tropical climates, each one is different. Each one has its own culture, its own languages, its own nuances on languages. Even though they might have similar foods or art forms, when you travel to the different countries within a particular region, like the South Pacific, you are going to see the differences of what makes each island nation stand out from its neighbors. That's something else that I really want to help showcase here in the US because there's a lot of people here in this country that haven't traveled to places like that. And, it just by helping to differentiate unique cultures and in countries and giving people particular reasons to go to a particular spot, I think it opens up the world of travel. It gives people a new place to consider to go rather than just the usual places, which are wonderful places, traveling throughout Europe or going down to South America. Endless new things to see in those places, lots of new things to see in those places on every trip you go. But they're not the only places you can go. There are a lot of other great countries on this planet that are very, very worthy of visits and have beautiful things to offer, which a lot of people just don't go to because they're either not known or they have the connotation of being too far. So anyways, without being too long-winded there, that's something else that I think you guys could help with is tell me about places where you like to go. In the tropics, what is it you like? What cool places have you been to? What cool restaurants have you been to? What cool dishes have you tried? What forms of music have you listened to? Again, going back to Fiji, the local music of Fiji is so relaxing and so nice to listen to. Each country is going to have their own version of that. So yes, to the audience of this little show, that's what I'm asking of you guys is just let's get engaged. Let's have some feedback here. Let me know what you guys think. So that email address is podcast@ceruleanbay.com. And yeah, we're going to grow it from there. So moving on from there, I do want to keep you guys posted about our little online store as well. It is there for specialty pieces. I would have to say that everything that I've been carrying, fortunately, has not been impacted by any of the tariffs. But shipping costs have been absolutely horrible. And so when you're importing from far off places, and it's not just the South Pacific, it's just very, very expensive to import. And when you're looking at DHL or FedEx, the rates are just prohibitive. So I am forced to rely on the United States Postal Service, and I will be very measured and reserved in my comments about them. But it's with great luck and a lot of prayer that I do receive things undamaged. Let's just say that. So I have had to scale back in the types of things that I can import because even though the rates with the U.S. Postal Service are still very affordable, the service is terrible and the number of incidents regarding damage is very, very high. And here in the U.S., if a package is originating from the U.S., you can insure it, but in some countries, insurance isn't available. And in Fiji, for example, when you're shipping with Post Fiji to the US, insurance isn't available. At least it hasn't been up until my last shipment that I received last month. And boy, that box looked like it was blown apart. I'm so grateful that nothing inside was damaged. But we're going to just keep things reserved for like really nice specialty pieces. There are some wood carvers that I work with who do beautiful work. There's just no other way to say it. The work is phenomenal that they do, and I am able to get some pieces here undamaged. So I'm going to actually start showcasing some of those pieces on YouTube so that you can see them. And I want to be able to just show them to you on camera, flip them over, show you the detail. And then when people are interested, you can place an order in the store. I am going to carry an inventory of a lot of the pieces, the ones that I can get, but I do want to let everybody know that the artists that I do work with, the wood carvers and everyone else, these are people who many of them have other daytime jobs. They do other things on the side for income. Many of them have families. So they carve when they can, and it's more than just a hobby for them. It is a true art form. They do carve for local tourism. Some of them do. Some of them are hired by the nicer resorts to carve specifically for them as well. And so I'm very grateful when they'll carve for me when they have time. But that is why I'll try to get a little bit of an inventory here on the really, really cool pieces so that if I place an order and it takes 2 or 3 months for me to receive it, you're not having to wait 2 or 3 months if you've placed an order and then I find out, I'm not going to be able to get it for 2 or 3 months. So I really don't like to put stuff as out of stock on the store, but I'll do that if I have to because I don't want any false expectations out there. So I will really be promoting the little store, but it's really from the angle of the cool stuff that you can get in it that you really can't get anywhere else. And I've sold a number of really nice specialty kava bowls recently, just some other nice wood carvings, and the people who've received them have been very, very happy. They really have some art forms that are original. They're unique. They are one of a kind. Even if I order 5 of the same kind of bowl, each bowl is going to be different because no two are carved exactly alike. So these are all hand-carved, hand-finished pieces. It's the same with any of the other wood carvings that I get. No two are really identical. It's going to be very nice to just be able to focus on some really cool specialty pieces. And then, of course, we do have the Select Second shop, which is a gently used section of our store. And I think it is a very underrated source of finding things for your home because at least here in the US, people have a lot of stuff. There's just no two ways to say it. People have a lot of stuff. Some people just have way too much stuff. And then when it comes time to downsize or if somebody's passed away or, whatever the reason may be, these thrift stores and consignment shops and estate sales are packed full of things. So when it comes to the tropical design world, that's where you can find some of the really coolest pieces because in the world of the tropics, authenticity is key. A lot of what is available out there at a particular time is not available out there at a later time because an artist might not be making that anymore. They might not be painting that anymore. They might not be carving that anymore. Or sadly, if the person's passed away, then there's nobody to carry on that line of work. So it really is a thing in the tropical world to find one-of-a-kind pieces. When you get into vintage, older, antique type of things, that's where you can score really, really big and find some really beautiful stuff. Because mid-century here in the US, when everybody was kind of into the tiki craze, there was a lot of really cool pieces that came through with that though too. A lot of very nice artwork, genuine pieces. So yes, we do look at the consignment shops here in Houston. We do go to the estate sales when we can. In the Select Second store, that is where we're going to be showcasing some of those as gently used. And then we also just have some kind of secondary pieces in there. These are just some cool pieces that maybe you could find in other places, but we've happened to come across it. Maybe particular glass bowls or maybe some old antique lanterns, things that can help to create a little vignette or a little display in your home. Or if you're going for a really cool, carefully thought out tiki bar or tiki room, that's where a lot of these pieces will work. They'll fit in there. They're just kind of the filler pieces is what it is. So as we come across things like that, we're going to continue to stock our Select Seconds category with that as well. But again, very measured, very curated. We don't want to carry a lot of stuff in the store. I'm pretty much a one-man show over here, and Edna helps me out when she can, but I don't have a staff that runs the store. So, when I get an order in, it's me packing it, and, and I love doing that, but it takes time to go and do that. So I don't run with a lot of inventory here. So long story short, my goal is just to keep the store small. It's there for you to peruse around, just have a look, whether you buy anything or not. You might see something in there that you don't purchase, but it gives you some really cool inspiration. Maybe you've seen a similar piece, something that's close to it to where you live. Go for it, get it. Because if you don't, someone else will. So, or go ahead and place that order. We are also going to be opening for international shipping. So I guess I should mention this too, especially since I'm speaking to the world here. But currently, I've only been shipping within the US and Canada, again, because shipping is expensive. So within the US, if your order is $100 or more, I can offer free shipping. Shipping rates to Canada, I can't because it's just way too expensive. So for Canada and for the other countries, shipping costs are going to be up to you. I'm going to offer as many shipping services as I can in the store. We have, again, USPS, which is the United States Postal Service. Then we've got UPS. I'm going to see who else I can add in there, though. And again, it's got to be something that integrates well with the store and then obviously works out for you too, because it just can't be some ridiculous price. I mean, what I went through with DHL to get a shipment of Warrior clubs here was just beyond the pale. It was really, really expensive. A box that initially was quoted as being about $250 to ship ended up costing over $700 because they use volumetrics, which I won't get into here, but it's a way of measuring using the size of the box, and they have a volume calculation that goes into this, and it was over by 2 centimeters. And I don't know if they had made a measuring mistake down in Suva in Fiji, or I don't know, but I had a bill of $700 to get those Warrior clubs here in the US, and obviously a little store can't function like that. But you guys out there, you can't be having crazy shipping costs either. So my shipping costs, these are going to be live rates, which come from the different carriers. They have the APIs that I can use for the website. So you do get the live rates. When you go into the store, you decide to make a purchase. What you see there quoted is not coming from me. So I just want to be very transparent about that. And yeah, at this time, I just can't offer free shipping on a global basis because it's just way too expensive. So, but I don't want people to shy away from the store. You know, go ahead, go in there, check it out. If you see something, or if you have a question about anything at all, you know, send me an email. You can send it to podcast@ceruleanbay.com and just send me an email. And I'm here. I respond to every single email, and I am here for you guys, however I can be, to just pull those really cool ideas, pull that inspiration together, create a wonderful tropical scene at home, one that you can enjoy either on your own or with family and friends, entertaining, have a little party, and then with information that I'm providing in the newsletter, information that you come across on your own as you're looking at your favorite travel sites and things that are very specific to where you live. Pull together all the info you need for an awesome tropical vacation, and you just kind of get on that little tropical way of living. You travel to cool places, you live the lifestyle at home, you're learning about new people, new foods, new cocktails, new beverages. It's just such a wonderful way to live. And I think, you know, I just, again, have to say thank you so very much to the people outside of the US who are tuning in. When I saw the latest analytics, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I was just like, wow, this is just so nice. It's so cool that people from around the world are tuning in. It means more to me than you guys are ever going to know. It really is very touching, and I appreciate that so very much. So yes, let's build from here. Send me those emails. Let me know what you think. And I will have another episode out next week. Check out the YouTube channel in the meantime. I've got a little YouTube video which kind of recaps what we had talked about in today's show. But I am going to start showcasing those individual wood carvings and things that I've been getting, and just adding a whole new form of content to the show and keeping you inspired, providing just new tips and stuff as I come across them. But yeah, next week, hopefully I'll be talking about this newsletter that I've got to get out, and I'm very excited about it. I hope you guys are too. So again, thank you so very much. It just means a lot. And yeah, keep living that lifestyle. Just find out what you really, really love about the tropics. Check out our online course. That tropical discovery assessment could really help you find out some things about yourself that maybe you're not aware of, and just really valuable information there. So, yes, keep looking for inspiration. And until we meet again, live the lifestyle. Take care, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.